Hey, this is Sri Vishwanath here, and welcome to episode number 40 of the Ask Sri Vishwanath Vedanta Show. And today's video, we'll talk about the real truth of what happens after death. Is rebirth real? So this question comes from Stephen from California, and he says, I was always curious to know what happens after death. Being born of Christian faith, we don't have the concept of rebirth, which is common in Hinduism. So I want to know, is rebirth real? Now, this is such a beautiful question. It's so very close to me. I really love this question. So I want to set this right at this very beginning. Here's the 40,000 foot view of Vedanta. The death of the body is not the death of the jiva. And this is true in all religions. I'm going to show you. The death of the body is not the death of the jiva. I mean, something lives. Even if the body dies, a jiva continues. The example given is very beautiful of the dream state. In dream state, you're sleeping, and let's say you're visiting Mars. So your body is here, and your mind has left, and the jiva creates another body, which you travel to the Mars. So in dream, you're getting a new body. So this jiva can produce unlimited bodies. Now there are some yogis who can create hundreds and thousands of bodies. You have to realize jiva can create unlimited body. That's why even after you die, it creates another body. And it creates another body before it leaves this body. So in dream, you get a new body. And let's say you're traveling to Mars and you die. That body, and you die, let's say in dream. But when you come back into this body, you don't consider that death, which you died, as a death. This is what Puri Shankaracharya said. So even if you have died, let's say 100 times in dream, you don't consider that to be death, because the reason you are alive today is not because of this body, not this body, but because the jiva lives in the body. That's why you say, I am alive. That's not because of this damn body. This damn body leaves us in dream. A jiva is what? The death of the body is not the death of the jiva. The death of the body is not the death of the jiva. So in the end, when a person dies, when the prana, which is the force, leaves the body, that is called death. So prana is the force, and matter is the false visualization. So jiva is the Atman plus false visualization. Matter. So that small matter, subtle matter, is called false visualization, avidya. And force is prana. So when prana leaves the body, it's called death of the body. Got it? And when prana leaves the jiva, which is the false visualization, then the jiva is liberated. So that is the whole deal. The whole secret is force needs matter to operate. So force cannot travel without matter. Got it? This is very, very important. So what is the matter? Avidya. What is the force? Prana. So they together are going in all, they are eternal. And when the Atman, when you, the jiva, whose I plus false visualization, when you separate that false visualization, the jiva is liberated. And when it's liberated, the prana also is separated from jiva. That's called liberation. So now, when a person leaves the body and he has not realized the self, he has not separated the false visualization, so his prana leaves the body. That's called death. What happens after that? If you see, let's take Christianity. Say that after you die, you're like Jesus, when this story of Lazarus, who, Jesus called out, he was in the grave. Now look at it, the body is in the grave. Now, they believe the jiva is in the grave. How is that possible? The jiva is gone. Where? It's called bhavarajya. The moment before it leaves this body, it creates another body. How? Let's say, for example, I am going to California, let's say. Florida to California. So I have some files. So I transfer that file to the iCloud before I leave from here, And then when I go there and I reach my destination, I download that in another computer. In exactly the same manner, before the jiva can produce unlimited, but before it leaves the body, whatever is the, at the time of the death, whatever samskara, the vidya it is there, it is uploaded to the cloud. It's called bhavrajya. And then it chooses another body to enter into. Now here's something very interesting. I want you to listen to this carefully. So Jesus, he called out Lazarus from the grave and said to rise, and he became alive. Now most Christians say, oh, this is a miracle. And now look at this carefully. Someone says there is no rebirth. So when the body leaves, when the jiva, when the prana leaves the body, where is it going? Who is holding it? That is exactly what jiva is. Jiva is when Christians say that, okay, after one dies, they go either to heaven or they go to hell. Now, who goes to heaven? Who goes to hell? The spirit doesn't need heaven and hell. So spirit plus something, plus something, plus something, that is avidya. So when you say the person is in the grave, what do you mean by person is in the grave? Jiva is in the grave. The body is gone. Listen to this carefully. When even Christianity accepts that when the person leaves the body, he is still alive in some form. That is exactly what Vedanta says. The death of the body is not the death of the jiva. When you know it clearly, you'll realize, well, they believe wrongly he's in the grave. Well, how can he be in the grave? He's in the cloud, Maharajya. And then he chooses another body. And then he returns back if he's not liberated. So even Christianity accepts rebirth. They just don't put it properly. Even Islamic. Because when a person leaves the body, they say he's alive. You have immediately accepted rebirth. This is very important to realize. See, when you leave the body, if the person is still existing in some form, that is rebirth. Because you have left the body. Now here's the deal. You have left the body, and then Jesus called out Lazarus and he entered into the same body. If it's a miracle, it's the jiva is entering back into the body. See, so when someone says he's in the grave, you have to realize it's actually rebirth. The moment a person dies, if there is no rebirth, the story is ended. Everything is gone. But every religion, including Christianity and Islamic, says that there is life after death. And what they say, oh, he's in the grave, then he goes to Jesus, then he goes to heaven or goes to hell. That is because of false ideas being propagated. Here's the stuff. When you leave the body, who leaves the body? See, the jiva leaves the body. Now look at it very carefully. It's spirit plus something. Who entered the body? When you enter the body, you feel like your parents are giving you birth. But you look at it carefully. When you exit the body, there is no parents, right? When you exit the body, it is the Atman plus something, which is avidya, and which travels the force, prana. So when you enter into the body, don't you think that would be the same thing? Parents are just the womb. They are just, it's just the outer framework through which they are not the real reason why, because the jiva enters and exits through the body, through the jiva. That's what Krishna says. The deluded do not see him moving out, staying in and experiencing and associating with God. Every single religion, the moment the prana, the jiva gets out of the body, if you accept some form of existence, then you have accepted rebirth. Because when it leaves out, how does it leave? It doesn't leave through parents. You don't exit the body through a parent's womb. You exit it through the jiva, and the same jiva is what comes in through the parent's womb. Because it is, jiva is Atman plus avidya. So see, when Jesus called out Lazarus, he re-entered into that body. He exited the body, re-entered. What exits the body? Jiva, which is, so when the death of the body is not the death of the jiva. This statement by Vedanta is what is upheld by every single, even Buddhism gets that Christianity, Islam, only Christianity, Islam restricts the travel and says, oh, they go to heaven and hell. They don't, we don't believe in rebirth. Rebirth is not a concept or philosophy. It's the truth. You can see it with your naked eyes. You can see it with your naked eyes that force needs matter to travel. What is the force? Prana. What is the matter? Jiva. The Atman plus false visualization. When you separate Atman false visualization, that's when you're liberated. So every single thing accepts rebirth. They just confuse people, all these spiritual teachers, and say, oh, it's not written clearly, because no one knows to teach. Everything is falsely told. Oh, when the body leaves, okay, it can be in the grave. Inside is the jiva inside the casket in the body. I mean, bullshit. What foolish concepts are these? It's like, so this is very important, and I'm getting excited because this is so much confusion has been put in people. It's a common sense with a little bit of insights to realize that the jiva exits the body, avidya plus the prana, and then it enters the body. Parents are just the medium. See, when you exit, do you exit out of the parents? No. Same way when you enter into your body. When he called out Lazarus, he re-entered into the body. Otherwise, he would have re-entered into another body. This whole thing, the surface is only a framework. The moment a person dies, he says, the body, we disregard the body. It's because when you are alive right now also, it's not because of this body, it's because of the jiva. It's because of jiva that you exist. What is jiva? Atman plus false visualization. Prana is sticking to it. So this is all traveling everywhere. Did you get that? So rebirth is there in every single thing. This exits out of the body, enters into the body. Death of the body is not the death of the jiva. That's why liberation is attained when you study jiva. It is 5,000 years of study. Vedanta is the king. It is the king of all these. Every single religion, every single spirituality, the source is Vedanta. When anyone talks afterlife, the source is Vedanta. The death of the body is not the death of the jiva. Thank you and God bless. If you want to know more about it, go to www.magicofgod.com, magicofgod.com, to know more about after death and all that stuff. Good stuff, and for getting you liberated. Thank you and God bless.